gentlemen, welcome and happy Friday night. Let's go. This is the David Kolar Piano Show. In tonight's show, I will be playing and discussing the debut of my new song, Loves You More. But first, this. Thank you. That was an original song of mine called Carrie. That was written for the wedding of my friends Brian and Carrie, college friends of mine who got married in the middle of my senior year of college. It was a December wedding, late December. And they had asked me to play the piano for the wedding and just wanted some unique music. And I asked if I could write some music for it, and they happily agreed. And so that was one of the songs I wrote, and then that was the song that I played while Carrie processed down the aisle, so I named the piece after her. So I hope you enjoyed that one. One thing before I move on with the rest of the show, one thing I wanted to talk about really quick was the last two streams, if you watched them, you may or may not have noticed that one of the keys on the piano was clicking. and it was this what's called A flat or G sharp 2. It's that note. And what was happening is I would press down the note and it would sound fine, and then as soon as I let up, you would hear a click. And it was pretty consistent, and so wasn't sure what it was. So I called my piano tech out, Michael Beatriz, with Presto Piano Services, who actually went to the same college as me, although I didn't know him in college. But when I got my piano, he reached out and said if I needed a tech, he would be happy to do it. And yeah, he's been great so far. So I called him up, and he came over and took a look, and found that there's a pad that's supposed to be in one of the spots in the whipping, it's called, which is the part of the key action that connects the key to the actual hammer. And I'll pull up a picture in a second here. But what he found was that that pad had fallen off, and so the pad was supposed to stop that particular piece from moving too far, and when it had fallen off, that piece could move further than it should have, and it was hitting up against some wood, and so it was getting that clicking sound. So luckily he was able to find the pad pretty quickly within the key. He found where it fell off, and he got this big tweezers and fished it out of there and then glued it back on. So if you were noticing that in the last couple streams, you'll be happy to know, as I was, that it's fixed now. I mean, it was quite the process. I mean, he took the whole key bed out. So there's a couple screws underneath the piano here that you take out. You take off the cover, and there's a couple like these side rails. He takes all that off, and then you just basically slide the key bed out, and it's pretty interesting to see. I wish I would have taken some pictures of that. But I'll pull up a really quick picture that he took of the actual whip-in, the piece that had the issue, and then you'll see the pad in his hand as he's holding it. Well, give me a second to pull that up. So that's one of the pieces of the action. So that connects to the key, and then up in the top left there's that white pad. I believe that's what actually connects with the hammer of the key and then pushes the hammer up to hit the string. So you can see in the palm of his hand, there's the little yellow pad there that had fallen off, so he was able to glue that back on. But thought people might enjoy a little bit of insight into the inner workings of a piano and things that can go wrong and how to fix them and stuff. And it's just, I always find it interesting to see the insides of a piano. So hope you enjoyed that. All right. As we go on here, feel free, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to put those in the chat. It's always really a lot of fun to get those questions and to have that interaction with the audience. It makes it really fun on my end, and it helps to give people some insight that they may not have otherwise had. So as we go along here, don't be shy about commenting in the chat. So today I want to debut my newest song, Loves You More. So this is a song, the piano part for it, which you'll hear when I play the song, and then after I play the song, I'll talk through the piano part a little bit more. But the piano part for it, I'd come up with what in the final version is the intro and then the chorus chords. I'd come up with those quite a long time ago, and it's often when I'm writing songs, it is just I come up with sort of I don't know if lick is the right word, but maybe a phrase or a chord pattern, and just kind of sit on that for a long time. I think this one was years that I had this one in my back pocket, and so I came up with that, and then eventually I came up with the chorus lyrics, and then figured out the chords for the bridge and eventually the lyrics for that, and then finally came up with the chords and the lyrics for the verses. So maybe a little bit of a strange way to write songs, sort of jumping all over the place within the song, but I find that sometimes that's the best way to do it, is just kind of let the song come to you in whatever way that it will. So this song is called Loves You More. This was written out of or based off of an experience that my wife and I went through that I think a lot of couples end up going through as married couples, and that's the miscarriage of a child. So Shannon, my wife, and I got married in May of 2021, and in like May, mid or a little bit later, December of that year, we found out that we were expecting. That was a Friday, and then the next Wednesday, we ended up miscarrying. So definitely a tough thing to go through as a couple. And one of the things that I wouldn't have known until I went through it is that one of the things that really makes it tough is there was just such different emotional levels for both of us going through this experience. Since my wife like carried the child inside of her for even for a brief time, she just had this super strong connection to this child that we never knew. And I was hadn't even had time to really process the fact that, we're going to have a child. And, we had lost it. And so it was just, there was a kind of a disconnect there with our, how it affected us, which made it, more tough, than just, losing the child. And so as we eventually kind of worked through all of that, and as we were working through it, I remember one thing that my wife said was, she's like, I just keep having to remind myself that, as much as I love this child that I never knew, God loves me even more. So that's where the title and the chorus comes from, loves you more. And, so we eventually, decided to give the child a name. And one of the words that kept popping up in Shannon's mind as she was going through this was the word of hope. Just have hope that, we'll have another child, and that, God has a greater plan for us. And so we decided for the first name to be Hope. And then because it happened around Christmas time, we went with Noelle as the middle name. And Shannon just kind of had this gut feeling that the child was a girl. So Hope Noelle was the name that we chose. And, out of all of that, we ended up eventually in August of 2022 conceiving again, and had a wonderful son named Dominic Francis, who was born back in May, and just today learned to roll over from his back to his stomach. I missed the first 2 times you did it, but then I was able to catch the third time on video. So that's pretty special. This song is just really talking through the process of going through that, the miscarriage and all the emotions, and maybe frustration or anger with God. I'll go ahead and read through the lyrics and then talk through a few of them to give a little bit more insight into what I was thinking writing this. So again, this is mostly based off of that. I took maybe some minor artistic liberties here and there, but here are the lyrics. So verse 1, we couldn't believe it. A tiny gift from up above. That glow on your face let off 1,000,000 watts of love. She was taken back in an instant, and you started wondering, what are you doing, God? And the chorus. So when the darkness creeps inside of your head, and you're not really sure, as much as you love your daughter, he loves you more. We sat at the gravesite, prayed to God, but he felt so far. How can someone so small leave such a deep and lasting scar? It seems easier to move mountains than to hope that God can bring good times from the hard. So when the darkness creeps inside of your head and you're not really sure, as much as you love your daughter. Now the bridge. It's 70 times 7, more than a universe is worth. It's a love that makes the deepest depths of ocean look like a scratch upon the earth. And the chorus again. So when the darkness creeps inside of your head and you're not really sure, as much as you love your daughter. When the darkness creeps inside of your head and you're not really sure, as much as you love your daughter, as much as you grieve her soul, as much as you love your daughter, he loves you more. So there's the lyrics. I think for the most part, pretty self-explanatory, but a couple spots I wanted to point out. The first one is the start of verse 2. It says, we sat at the gravesite. This could be thought of in one way as, the gravesite of the child that you lost. In this case, I'm actually referring to Shannon's grandparents' grave. So we live just down the road from this Catholic cemetery where Shannon's paternal grandparents, her grandma and grandpa Wick, are buried. And on the day that we lost the child, we ended up going over to their grave site and praying a rosary and just kind of being with them. Shannon just felt really called to go there. So that's the grave site reference there. And then at the end of that verse, there's the line, then to hope that God, it seems easier to move mountains than to hope that God can break good times from the hard. I really wanted to work the word hope into that, because that's what we named our daughter. So, and then in the bridge, there's a biblical reference with the first, it's 70 times 7. And when I was going to look this up, I don't remember the verse or the book off the top of my head, but it's Jesus is talking about, I think it's talking about forgiving. Do we need to forgive? One of his disciples asked, do we need to forgive, our brother 7 times? And he says, you need to forgive him 70 times 7 times. If somebody knows that verse better off the top of their head or wants to look that up and put it in the chat, that would be appreciated. But yeah, I think that's really what I had on the lyrics. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will answer those as they come. But with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and play the song, and then I'll talk through some of the music aspects of it once I'm done playing it. So I hope you enjoy. This is Loves You More. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. I'm glad I looked at my notes. So yeah, when I first played this song for Shannon, I actually have a video recording of the first time I played it for her. I got done playing it, and she told me that she was like really hoping that music that I've been playing for months or years at that point, that kind of chord pattern, she was really hoping that I would use that in a song about the miscarriage. So I guess great minds think alike. So I was glad to hear that we were on the same page on that. But without further ado, this is Loves You More. Couldn't believe it, a tiny gift from up above, that glow on your face let off a million watts of love. She was taken back in an instant, and you started wondering, what are you doing, God? So when the darkness creeps inside of your head, and you're not really sure, as much as you love your daughter, He loves you more. We sat at the graveside, prayed to God, but He felt so far. How could something so small leave such a deep and lasting scar? It seems easier to move mountains and to hope that God will bring good times from the hard. So when the darkness creeps inside of your head, and you're not really sure, as much as you love your daughter, it's 70 times 7 So when the darkness creeps inside of your head and you're not really sure as much as you love your daughter, when the darkness creeps inside of your head and you're not really sure as much as you love your daughter, as much as you grieve her soul. As much as you love your daughter, he loves you more. Thank you. All right, and Sonia A says, I think the verse you were referring to is found in Matthew. Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to find the specific verse at some point again. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed that. I want to talk through just a couple. So yeah, now that you've heard the song, this chord pattern I was referring to is the first thing I came up with for this song. So I had that for a long time, and then I knew that was going to be the chorus of a song, and I didn't really know what the verses would be. And I was sort of playing around with just kind of some really basic, like... And honestly, I initially didn't really want to use that because I felt it was a little too simple. But I think I'm really glad I did end up using that, and I think it works pretty well for the song. Got Arlo and Bonnie M. Your music is awesome. I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you. And yeah, glad you enjoy the music. Yeah, it's great to have some new people get exposed to my music and hear this. And then Mary says, what a moving tribute to hope and therapeutic as well, I would guess. Yeah, it was definitely very therapeutic. And, I think that's sometimes how I work through emotions and is through music and songwriting. Yeah, I don't know if there's really much else to say on the music side of things. If anyone's curious, it's in the key of E major. It's a very common pop key. Yeah, and uses a lot of like A, B, C minor, B, A, F minor, and then that's like E in first inversion. And it's written in 4/4 time. So, with that being said, I'm going to move on to the next song I have lined up for you. So I realized within like the last week that... give me 1 second. Yeah, I realized within like the last week that it's been 15 years since I graduated college, and there might be some of you out there who are like, wow, that's no time at all. And there's some of you who might be saying 15 years is a super long time. But it's just kind of amazing to think back that it was 15 years ago that I graduated from high school. Sorry, did I say college? I meant high school graduation. I graduated high school in 2008, which I did the math. I was like, wow, it's 2023. That's 15 years. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to pull out a song from that time and play it tonight. So for my high school graduation, I decided to write a song to play at the graduation. A couple of years before, my sister had graduated. One of my sisters, my older sister, had graduated, and one of her classmates had written a song and then played it at their graduation. And so that also inspired me as well to write something for my graduation. So I came up with the music, and then I didn't know how to write lyrics at that point, so I actually turned it over to a friend of mine, Emily, who was a grade below me, and she wrote the lyrics for it. And I think my dad helped out a bit as well. But I played it for at graduation, and I don't think I've played it since. We did a recording of it back then with Emily singing. And so this is the first time I'll actually be singing this song, and really only the second time it's been performed publicly. And I hope you enjoy it. This is called Last Song. Here we are for one last song. Don't cry, just sing along. Hold up your head, be strong. I'm by your side. Sun in the east, and it's rising now, lighting a brand new day. Saying goodbye, spreading your wings out to fly. Sun in the east, and it's rising now. Stand and greet the dawn to light your way. Open your eyes to the wonders of life. Seek out the good and the opportunities. Open the past as you reach for your dreams. Seek out the dreams can become reality. Keeping your spirit of life so strong and free. In this your one last song, we're here for one last song. Don't cry, just sing along. Hold up your head, be strong. I'm by your side. Find your dreams deep within your soul. Holding on, reach for the future. Live for tomorrow, and let your dreams become one beautiful new song. Thank you. Mary says, haven't heard this in a long time. Excellent collaboration. Thanks, yeah. It's fun to work that up again after all these years. Cool. All right, so the last couple streams I've been doing a thing where I, on this keyboard, will improvise a loop just off the top of my head. And I'm going to do that again tonight. So I think in sticking with the theme of sort of like, I don't know, what's the word? I feel like all the songs have sort of had a similar vibe to them tonight. So whatever that vibe is, I'm going to maybe do something in a similar vibe. I've also been thinking about a name for this segment, and what I've come up with so far is calling it Loop. There it is. So let me know in the chat if you think that's a good name or if not. But here goes. Hope you like whatever comes out of this keyboard. Someday I'll get this buzz fixed. Gonna be a real short loop. There you go. Kind of an interesting one. So thanks for listening to that. Hope you found some enjoyment out of that. Cool. So the next show I'll be doing before I wrap up, I just got a couple plugs here. The next live stream I'll be doing will be 2 Fridays from today. That's September 8th. It'll be at 6:30 p.m. again. Hope you can join for that one. I believe that next one I'm going to start. I'll play and then talk through the composition of an instrumental piece that I finished writing a couple years ago, and yeah, just it's a pretty expansive. It's like 10 minutes long and sort of a mixture of classical and jazz. I'm really excited about it. It's like the second movement of a 3-movement work. I have the second and the third movements finished. I still need to write the first movement, but I'll be talking through the second movement next time, and I'm really excited for that, so I really hope you can join me for that. The other exciting announcement I have is that I will be doing another outdoor house show. So I did a couple house shows back when I lived in Minneapolis, just in the backyard of the house I was living in. Those were a lot of fun. And that was 2016 and 2017. And so wanted to bring that back. And so I will be doing, I've since moved from that house, but I will be doing another outdoor house show at my place. And that will be September 30th. It's a Saturday night. That's all the details I have at the moment. But if you follow my Facebook page, you'll get the announcements as I start to post stuff about that, including times and everything else. So I'm really excited about that. Get a chance to perform live again, and just to have a night of music and camaraderie. That is a nice segue into go ahead and follow my Facebook page, give it a like, just David Kolar Music, which is what I'm streaming through right now. And you'll be able to see updates on that show as well as my live streams and any other things I have going on. I also have a YouTube channel that's at David Kolar Music, which I'll pull up the link on screen here shortly. And I re-upload these live streams to YouTube. I take a local recording from my phone and I upload that to YouTube. And so it's the best quality version you can find there. And I'm trying to get some more subscribers on there. I think I'm at 7 right now, so if I can get up to 10 by the next live stream, that would be awesome. More would be even better. And I think that's really about it for the plugs. I'll pull up the YouTube link on screen quick. So there's that if you want to check out the YouTube channel. So that brings me to my last song of the night, and I'm going to bookend this show. I started out, the first song I played was, not including the little intro, the first song I played was a song I wrote for a wedding, and this last song I'm going to play is a song that was recorded and played at my wedding. So my wife doesn't know I'm doing this tonight. But hope she enjoys it. This is the song that I wrote for her birthday back in 2020, January, before all the whole pandemic thing happened. And I played it for her live, and I have an audio recording of playing it for her that first time. But this is a song about our relationship. It's called Concrete Park, which is a reference to where our first date was. It was at Centennial Lakes Park in Edina, Minnesota, which is surrounded by a bunch of parking lots and parking ramps and stores and things. And so she didn't think I knew what a park was. She's like, man, this city boy doesn't even know what a park is. So that's what the title is a reference to. And so I originally wrote it for her birthday, and then I recorded a full band version and sang on it. And that was played as the first dance for our wedding. So it has a really special place for us. Hope you enjoy this. This is Concrete Park. And once again, I just want to thank everybody who's watching tonight. If it's your first time watching, thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot to me to have that support. Again, please like the Facebook page so you can tune into future live streams. And we'll go from there. The other thing that Shannon's probably surprised that I'm playing this tonight, because as of like 1 o'clock this afternoon, I had forgotten how to play it, and so I've since quickly relearned it, and we'll be playing it for you tonight. So this is Concrete Park. Hope you enjoy, and have a good rest of your night. Meet me at the concrete park. It's better than advertised. The band. I'm going to take this over. I forgot to turn the reverb on, which my voice sounds so much better with reverb. So this is take 2. At the concrete park, it's better than advertised. The band will play and then we'll stay and talk until 10:45. Many years and years from now, we'll still talk about this first night. I won't soon forget when our eyes first met, or your great laugh and beautiful smile. And life is always an adventure with you, like catching a North Shore sunrise. And I know I want to love you until we die. Let's take a walk at Cleary Lake. That sunset is so divine. The muddy miles won't stop our smiles as we stop to fight fireflies. And all at once I feel a call as we stare at the stars in the sky. Do you feel free? Will you walk with me the narrow road to heaven on high? And life is always an adventure with you, like riding a blue tandem bike. And I know I want to love you until we die. Sometimes I just pinch myself and say how lucky am I that God put us together in this place and this time. Thank you for these last 6 months and showing your goofy side. I can't wait to spend each day with you until at least 2095. And life is always an adventure with you, like a first dance as husband and wife. And I know I want to love you until we die. I know I want to love you until we die. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hope you had fun and enjoyed the music. I'll see you next time.